The morning sun stretched long shadows across the toxic mudflats of Kepler 442b. Dr. Marcus Webb stepped carefully along the edge of the orange swamp, holding a sample kit in one hand and a breathing mask in the other. The air here was dangerous, thick with chemicals that could burn human lungs after just a few breaths. Marcus had been working alone at Research Station Alpha 7 for 8 months now. It was lonely work, but someone had to study the strange life forms on this far-off planet. The pay was good, and Marcus loved his job. As a xenobiologist, every day offered a chance to find something no one had ever seen before. He stopped at his usual collection spot and knelt down. This patch of mud was especially rich in microorganisms. As he reached for his sampling tool, something strange caught his eye. About 50 meters away, half buried in the bubbling mud, was a shape. At first, Marcus thought it might be a dead animal. But as he stepped closer, his heart began to race. It looked almost human. But not quite. The figure had arms and legs like a person, but they were longer and thinner. The skin shimmered strangely, like oil floating on water. "Oh my God," Marcus whispered through his breathing mask. "It's alive." It was a female, clearly intelligent and humanoid. She was unconscious, covered head to toe in the toxic orange mud that could eat through metal if left too long. Her breathing was shallow and weak burns covered her exposed skin, where the acid had already started to eat away. Marcus looked around. No one was there, as usual. He was completely alone. The nearest outpost was 3 hours away by transport. If he called for help, she would be dead long before anyone arrived. He had to decide now. According to protocol, any first contact with alien life had to be reported to Colonial Command, no exceptions. But Marcus had heard stories from other planets. When the military got involved, things rarely went well for the aliens. Most ended up in labs. Or worse. This woman, this creature was dying. She needed help now. Not after hours of paperwork and briefings, Marcus made his choice. He moved carefully, lifting her out of the mud. She was lighter than he expected, but her long limbs made her awkward to carry. Her skin was warm and smooth under his gloves, with tiny, shiny scales that caught the light. As he touched her, her skin shifted colors like a living mood ring. It took him 20 minutes to get back to his lab. She stayed unconscious the whole time. Her breathing was growing weaker. Marcus breathed heavily inside his mask. He was breaking every rule in the Colonial Safety Manual. But letting her die wasn't an option. Inside the lab, he laid her gently on the examination table and switched on the overhead lights. Finally, he could see her clearly. She was beautiful in an alien way. Her face was longer and slimmer than a human's, with high cheekbones and closed, almond-shaped eyes. Her ears were pointed. Her hair was a deep, blue-black color, and it moved slightly, like it weighs a live. But her condition was bad. Chemical burns covered most of her body. She was severely malnourished, her ribs clearly visible under her thin skin. What struck him the most were the marks around her wrists and ankles. Circular bruises, scars. She had been chained, held captive. Marcus worked quickly, washing the toxic mud from her skin with a neutralizing solution. He was as gentle as possible. Then he applied healing gel to the burns and set up an IV to get fluids into her. As the IV began to drip, he watched her carefully. He still didn't know who she was or how she ended up half dead in a poisonous swamp, but he knew one thing for sure: he had done the right thing. She was dehydrated and barely hanging on. As Marcus continued working, he couldn't stop wondering, who was she? Where had she come from? Why was she left to die in that swamp? While he treated her burns, he noticed something remarkable. Her skin changed color in reaction to touch. When he cleaned a painful wound, it flashed red. But when he gently applied healing gel, it softened to a calm blue. Her skin reflects emotion and pain. 2 hours passed. Her breathing grew stronger, more stable. Her skin settled into a pale silver, maybe a sign of sleep or rest. Marcus covered her with a blanket and set up monitoring equipment to track her vitals. Then he sat in his chair beside her, watching her sleep. That's when the weight of what he'd done hit him. He was hiding an alien, not just studying her, harboring her. No official report, no contact with Colonial Command. If they found out, he could lose his job. Maybe worse. But then he looked at the bandaged wounds. The clean skin where acid burns had healed, and the peaceful look on her face, and he knew he had made the right choice. Evening fell. The lab lights glowed soft and low. Suddenly, her eyes opened. They were huge and golden like a cat's, but sharper, intelligent. Aware, she saw Marcus and jerked upright, panic all over her face. Her skin flashed a bright yellow, pure fear. Marcus raised both hands slowly. "It's okay," he said gently. "You're safe now. I'm not going to hurt you." She didn't understand the words, but his tone reached her. The yellow softened into a cautious orange. Her breathing slowed as she looked around the lab, taking in the lights, equipment, and warmth. Marcus pointed to himself. "Marcus," he said clearly. Then he pointed at her and raised his eyebrows. She stared at him for a long moment. Then, in a voice that sounded like singing wind, she whispered, "Kira." Marcus smiled. "Kira," he repeated. Her skin flickered golden and soft. It might have been pleasure, or maybe relief. In his chair beside the table, he had fallen asleep watching over her, making sure she kept breathing through the night. As he opened his eyes, he saw her watching him back. Her golden eyes were full of curiosity, not fear. Her skin was now a gentle green. "Calm, peaceful. Good morning," Marcus said softly, stretching his sore neck. It was the start of something that would change both their lives. Next morning, Marcus woke. He pointed to the window where sunlight streamed in. "Morning," he said again. Then, pointing to himself, "Marcus." Kira tilted her head like a bird, watching carefully. She pointed to the window and made a soft, musical sound. Then she pointed to herself and said again, more clearly this time, "Kira." Marcus smiled. She was trying to learn. Trying to connect. This was progress. He stood up slowly, careful not to startle her. She followed his movements with quiet focus. Marcus opened a ration pack, basic soup, safe for most species according to his training. He warmed it, poured it into a bowl, and brought it to her. When he offered it, Kira's skin flared yellow again. She pressed herself back against the table, shaking her head. Marcus froze. "She thinks it's poisoned." He needed to show her it was safe, wanted to hurt her to show the food was safe. Marcus took a sip of the soup himself. "See," he said, "good food, safe food." He held the bowl out again. This time Kira reached out with a shaking hand. Her fingers were longer than human fingers with an extra joint that made them very flexible. She took a small sip and her skin immediately changed to a warm orange color. She was hungry, very hungry. Marcus watched as she drank the entire bowl of soup. When she finished, she looked at him and made a sound that might have been thank you in her language. Her skin was now a happy golden color. Over the next few days, Marcus and Kira developed a routine. He would bring her food and medicine for her burns. She would try to teach him words in her language while learning English from him. She was incredibly smart and picked up new words quickly. By the third day, Kira could say simple sentences in English. Marcus good. She would say, her skin turning warm colors. "Food good, thank you, Marcus." But Marcus noticed that whenever he moved too quickly or made loud noises, Kira would become afraid. Her skin would flash yellow and she would curl up into a ball. Someone had hurt her badly before. He found her on the fourth day. Marcus decided to ask her about what had happened. He sat down beside her bed and spoke gently. "Kira, where did you come from? How did you get in the mud?" Her skin immediately changed to dark purple, which Marcus had learned meant sadness or pain. She was quiet for a long time, thinking about how to explain in her limited English. "Bad men," she finally said, her voice shaking. "Take Kira, take. Many of my people make us work in bad places with poison air." Marcus felt anger building in his chest. "Slavers," he said, "someone was using you as slaves." Kira nodded, understanding the word slaves even though it was new to her. "Many Kira people taken, put in chains." She held up her wrists, showing the healed marks where shackles had been. "My people strong," she continued, her English getting better as she spoke. "Can work in poison air, can lift heavy things. Bad men want us for work in dangerous places." Marcus clenched his fists. Slave trading was illegal throughout the galaxy, but it still happened on frontier worlds where law enforcement was weak. The thought of Kira and her people being treated like property made him sick. "How did you escape?" he asked. Kira's skin flickered between colors as she remembered transport ship crash and storm guards hurt Kira. "Run away, hide in mud for many days, very sick, very hungry. Think Kira will die." She looked at Marcus with her large golden eyes. "Then Marcus, find Kira." Marcus saved Kira life. Marcus felt a warm feeling in his chest. "I'm glad I found you," he said honestly. Over the following days, Kira told him more about her people. Then they came from a star system far away where they lived in peace on planets with thick atmospheres. The Varen were naturally strong and could breathe air that would kill most other species. This made them valuable to criminals who needed workers for dangerous jobs. My people look for us, Kira said one evening as they ate dinner together. But very far away. Take long time to find. Marcus nodded. He had been thinking the same thing for days. Kira, he said gently, I think I need to tell the authorities about you. There are good people out there, people who can help find your family and stop the bad men. But as soon as he said it, Kira's skin flashed a bright, panicked red. She shook her head quickly. No, she said, authorities, sometimes bad too. Sometimes work with slave men. Kira, not safe. Marcus stared at her, heart sinking. She was right. On the frontier, corruption wasn't just possible, it was common. If the wrong person found out about her, she could be taken again, chained, sold. Then we'll be careful, Marcus said. I won't let that happen. I'll protect you. I promise. Kira looked at him for a long time. Then, slowly, her skin turned a warm golden color, the color Marcus now knew meant trust. Marcus, good friend, she said softly. Kira, trust Marcus. He smiled at her. In that moment, he knew things had changed. He wasn't just a scientist anymore. He was her protector, her friend. And maybe her only hope for freedom. But peace never lasts. On the seventh day, Marcus was jolted awake by a loud beeping. He had fallen asleep again in his lab chair, watching over Kira. The beeping came from the comms panel. Someone was trying to contact the station. He rushed to Kira, gently shaking her awake. Hide, he whispered. Someone's coming. Her skin instantly turned dark red with alarm. She had come to trust Marcus completely, and now she trusted his fear too. Without hesitation, she hurried into the back storage room where Marcus kept supplies. He turned to the screen and answered the call. Captain Torres' face appeared, head of colonial security for the region. A big man, older, with grey hair and sharp, suspicious eyes. Dr. Webb, Torres said in a cold, deep voice, we need to talk. I'm coming to your station for an inspection. Marcus forced his voice to stay calm. An inspection? What's the problem, Captain? We've had some unusual activity in your area. Slave traders are active. One of their prisoners escaped. You seen anything strange? Marcus could feel his heart pounding. No, nothing strange, just my usual research. Torres narrowed his eyes but didn't press. Good, I'll be there in 2 hours. Be ready for a full inspection. The screen went black. Marcus stood frozen for a second, mind spinning. 2 hours. That's all the time he had to figure out what to do. He ran to the back room. Kira was waiting, eyes wide, skin flickering quickly between orange and yellow. Nervous, scared. Bad men coming? She asked in her improving English. Maybe, Marcus said honestly. Captain Torres is coming. He might be good. But he might work with the slave traders too. I don't know. Kira nodded slowly. She didn't trust anyone in uniform. Kira, hide outside, she offered. Marcus thought about it. The air out there was toxic. Even if she could handle more than a human, it would still be dangerous. And if slavers were nearby, she might walk straight into their hands. No, he said, too risky. We need a better plan. The next hour passed in a blur. Marcus scrubbed the lab top to bottom, hiding any trace of Kira's presence. He packed away extra food, locked up the unused medicine, and cleared out the tools she had touched. Kira helped too, using her long, flexible fingers to reach into tight spaces and wipe things clean. But Marcus could see she was afraid. Her skin kept shifting through shades, fast and unsettled. Yellow, red, orange, fear, worrying, panic. And he felt the same way, because if Torres found even one piece of evidence, it would all be over. Kira used her long fingers to help Marcus clean, reaching into tight spaces with ease. But Marcus could see how scared she was. Her skin kept changing colors quickly, yellow, red, orange, fear, worrying. As they worked, Kira looked at him. Marcus, if bad men take Kira, Marcus must not try to help, she said softly. Too dangerous. Marcus die. Marcus stopped. He turned to face her and knelt so he was eye level. No, Kira, he said gently. I promise to protect you. I won't let them take you. But Marcus is just one, she said. Bad men have many guns, many ships. Marcus will die. He shook his head. Some things are more important than staying safe. Helping people you care about is one of them. I won't leave you. Kira's skin changed to a deep blue. Marcus had never seen that color before. He wasn't sure what it meant, but tears were starting to form in her golden eyes. Then they heard it, the low, rumbling sound of a transport ship landing outside. Captain Torres had arrived. Quick, Marcus whispered. Hide in the vent above the storage room. Stay quiet, no matter what happens. Kira nodded and climbed up quickly, moving like it was second nature. Her people must have been natural climbers. Marcus shut the vent just as the door opened. Torres walked in, flanked by 2 armed security officers. They looked serious and cold. Dr. Webb, Torres said. Thanks for your cooperation. We're going to search your whole station. Of course, Marcus said, trying to sound calm. Can I ask what you're looking for? An escaped alien. Female slave traders want her back. Big reward, Torres said, watching Marcus carefully. Marcus felt sick. Torres wasn't just doing his job, he was working with the slavers. I haven't seen any aliens, Marcus said. Only the small life forms I study, Torres nodded, but his eyes were full of suspicion. We'll see about that. The search began. The officers moved through every room with scanning gear, checking for signs of life. Marcus followed, heart pounding. He hoped Kira could stay quiet. 30 minutes passed. Then, Captain, one of the officers called from the storage room. Getting strange readings from the vent, Marcus froze. They found her. Check it out, Torres ordered. The officer started to remove the vent cover. Marcus knew he had only seconds. He could let them take her, or fight. He made his choice. As the cover came off, Marcus grabbed a heavy wrench from his toolkit and swung hard at the nearest officer. The man dropped to the floor, stunned. Run, Kira! Marcus shouted. Kira dropped from the vent, her skin flashing bright red, fierce and ready. She moved fast to follow with human eyes. With one powerful kick, she knocked the second officer across the room. But Torres was ready. He pointed his gun at Marcus. Stop right there, he said, calm and cold. Or your friend dies. Kira froze. Her skin turned dark purple, the color of heartbreak. She looked at Marcus, pain in her eyes, ready to give up to save him. But Marcus wasn't done. You're making a mistake, Torres, Marcus said. When the real authorities find out, working with slavers, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison, Marcus said. Torres laughed, shaking his head. The real authorities? Boy, I am the real authority out here. This is frontier space. I make the rules. But before anyone could respond, they heard something, a deep rumbling sound. More ships were landing outside, big ones. Torres frowned and tapped his communicator. Base, this is Torres. Are you sending backup? The reply was not in a human voice. It was musical and deep, similar to Kira's voice, but stronger. This is Commander Vellum of the Veran Rescue Fleet. We have you surrounded. Release our people now, or face the consequences. Kira's skin burst into bright gold, glowing with joy. She said something in her native language, full of relief and excitement. Torres looked confused and angry. That's impossible. Our intel said the Ven fleet was months away. Marcus smiled. Maybe your intel was wrong. Maybe the Ven are better at space travel than you thought. The tables had turned. Torres and his men were no longer the hunters they were trapped. Suddenly, the door to the lab burst open. 3 tall figures stepped inside. They wore armor that shimmered and changed color, just like Kira's skin. They were Ven warriors, and they moved like trained soldiers, silent, fast, and deadly. One of them was taller than the others. His armor had silver markings. He was clearly their leader, Kira. He called in the Ven language. Kira answered with pure joy, her skin glowing gold. She spoke quickly, pointing to Marcus and then to Torres and his officers. Captain Torres still had his gun out, but his hands were shaking now. Stay back, he shouted. I'll kill the human. The Ven leader looked at him coldly. When he spoke, his English was clear, though heavily accented. I am Commander Vellum. Lower your weapon now, or my warriors will end you. You can't threaten me, Torres yelled. This is human colonial space. You have no authority here. Commander Vellum stepped closer, eyes burning. We have the authority to protect our people. You have taken them, abused them, and enslaved them. That gives us all the authority we need. More Ven warriors entered the lab, some with weapons, others with medical gear. They moved like a highly trained rescue team. One of the medics rushed to Kira and began scanning her. Kira spoke quickly to him in Vind. Marcus heard his name, Marcus, spoken several times. The medic looked at him with surprise and respect. Then Commander Vellum turned to Marcus. "You are Marcus Webb?" "Yes," Marcus replied, unsure of what was coming next. Kira spoke again, fast and full of emotion. As she talked, the commander's expression changed from serious to amazed. When she finished, Vellum looked at Marcus with deep respect. "Kira tells me you saved her. You cared for her, protected her, and risked your life and career to keep her safe. When you could have turned her in, you didn't." Marcus felt a little embarrassed by the praise. "Anyone would have done the same," he said quietly. Vellum shook his head. "No, Dr. Webb, most would not. Most follow orders, most stay silent. You chose to do what was right. This operation. It's bigger than you think," Torres said, panicking. "I'm just a small part of it. Tell us everything," Commander Vellum demanded. Torres looked around at the armed Vin warriors. He realized he had no choice. There's a main compound about 50 kilometers north of here. They're holding maybe 200 Vin prisoners. The whole thing is run by a man named Kane. But he's not the real leader. The real boss is someone high up in the colonial government. Marcus felt sick. 200 prisoners. He asked, "How long has this been going on?" 3 years, Torres admitted. They grab Vin from ships passing through remote systems. The Vin are perfect workers, strong, able to breathe toxic air, and they heal fast. Kira's skin turned a deep, angry red. She said something sharp in her language, and the Vin warriors' hands tightened on their weapons. "She says her brother was taken during the first raids," Vellum translated. "He may still be in that compound." Marcus looked at Kira with sympathy. No wonder she had been so scared her family was still in danger. "We should attack the compound right away," one of the Vin warriors said, but Commander Vellum raised his hand. "It's not that simple. If we rush in, they might kill the prisoners before we can reach them. We need a smarter plan." Marcus took a breath and spoke up. "I might be able to help." Everyone turned to look at him. "I've been here for 8 months, Marcus said. "I know the terrain around that area. I've mapped it. I've also worked with the security systems used at colonial bases like that one." Commander Vellum studied him. "You would help us attack your own people." "Torres and Kane aren't my people," Marcus replied firmly. "Slavers are criminals no matter the species. The good people in the colonial government would want this stopped too." For the next hour, they made a plan. Marcus drew maps and explained weak points in the security. The Vin shared information about their weapons and how they'd fight. Kira stayed close to Marcus the whole time. Her skin shifted colors: gold for joy, red for anger, blue for fear. During a short break, Kira turned to Marcus. "Marcus not have to come," she said softly. "Too dangerous for human." Marcus smiled at her. "Remember what I told you. Some things are more important than being safe, and besides, you'll need someone who understands human tech." Commander Vellum overheard them. "Dr. Webb," he said, "you've already done so much. You could walk away now. Why keep helping us?" "Because it's the right thing to do, because Kira is my friend. And because if we don't stop this now, it'll just keep happening to more innocent people." Vellum nodded slowly. "You are an unusual human, Dr. Webb. Most of the humans we've met care only about money or power. Most humans are good," Marcus replied. "The problem is, the bad ones often hold the power. But that doesn't mean we stop fighting." As the plan came together, Marcus knew one thing for sure: his life had changed forever. Just a week ago, he was a lonely scientist studying mud samples. Now he was part of a mission to rescue hundreds of innocent lives. He looked over at Kira's hopeful face and he knew he was exactly where he needed to be. The attack would begin at dawn.